Good morning, evening, and afternoon to everyone. My name is Ishan, and today I'm going to talk about how to get sub 5 minutes consistently on 3 by 3 blindfolded. So, the first thing I want you to learn is to learn the M2 OP method because using on-pockment for edges and transitioning into M2 takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and those algorithms that you learn for M2 will take a lot of time to get into your muscle memory. So I recommend you to learn them as soon as possible. I'm telling you from personal experience, it takes a lot of time. I went from going from using OPOP at like 5 minutes, just below 5 minutes, and then I had to learn M2. I went back 3 minutes back because like I was so slow at using the M2 algorithms like the INS targets and stuff, and then only I like progressed forward to like 3 minute 30. That's where like stand right now. This all that you're seeing right now is not exactly 3:30 what I average is like my best time at home, but I actually averaged 3 minute 30. So yeah, I took like 4 steps back to get 1 step forward. So I don't want that to happen to you. Anyways, I just want you to enjoy this video and take tips from me. Let me know your suggestion in the comments. Anyways, thank you. Let's move on. So the first thing we can do is optimizing our old Pokemon algorithm. So we know that we learn an algorithm from swapping from this sticker to this sticker. If you watched JPM tutorial, it goes something like this. And this is really good for the U side targets, but for some front side targets, you know that there's a way to cancel into it. For example, this J or this I, like you put J like this, and then you do the exact same algorithm, which is not ideal because after you do the algorithm, we have to put it up again. And you know there's a way to cancel into it because you're doing an R prime and then an R. So a way to cancel into this algorithm to make all the front side targets much more easier is to not do a R in the beginning, just go into the algorithm and then do an R2 at the end. So that swaps this sticker with this sticker. And it makes the front side target so much more easier. For example, I can swap L with an F2 instead of an F2 R prime and then doing the algorithm and then again doing an R and then F2. You can just set it up here, do that exact same algorithm and do something like that to swap um, with L. And that also applies with I and K. So that makes the front side targets way more easier. It's really efficient. And for T and H, for T it's just the same thing except you put the R2 in the beginning and you do and you just remove the R at the end. So R2 in the beginning, do that exact same arc, and then there is no R at the end, and that swaps T with here with the buffer. So the benefit of this algorithm is that you can swap with H. You can set up to H with just a D prime and do the arc, and it helps because I used to do H in a very weird way. I used to do it like this, D prime, R, and then after I do the algorithm, I just do an R again because there was an R at the end of this swapping algorithm that JPone thought, and then I just do a D, and I like got so many DNS when I got the H target until I realized what was the actual problem. So yeah, you should learn these two algorithms. They make your setups way more easier for the front side targets and for the T and H targets. I find the H target to be kind of a very weird target to swap with using this algorithm only, and when I learned these two algorithms it made my corner execution way more faster. I think I can solve corners in like 30 seconds. So yeah, optimize your all Pokemon algorithms. Don't just focus on edges. Corners are really important, and yeah, that's my first tip. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is is to create a letter pair list. Now, before I talk about that, we have to talk about the sequence of steps needed to solve the 3 by 3 blindfolded. So first thing you have to do is solve the corners with imagery or visual memo like letter pairs, and because they are the things we are going to solve last. Now, after we solve, we memorize corners, we memorize edges using audio memo, because after this, the reason why we use audio, because audio is faster but it's less memorable. But after we memorize edges, we are gonna go straight into executing edges. Now that's the first thing, and then after that we just solve the corners using the visual memo that we did earlier. So these are the sequence of steps that we have to take. Now about the letter pair system, like how do we, where do I start, where do I create how much letterpress you need to create in a day. Honestly, it depends on the person you are. Just create, and people get really frightened by the number of letterpress you have to create. Like there will be like some, I think so around 290 or maybe 300. I don't know how many double pair letterpress are there, but it's usually in the hundreds, and like people get really discouraged from that. To be honest, if you just make it a routine to make like 5 letterpress every day, just 5 letterpress every day, it won't even take that much. But because there are like some specific spreadsheets that like I've gotten from some people, I don't know how to credit them, but yeah, some specific spreadsheets, and like from there I make my letterpress because it's super easy to, and you can incorporate your ones too. The only thing is that you should make a letterpress more distinguishable from each other. Just like I used to, like, lay my letterpress after like football positions. Like for example, like LB would be lower back, and RB would be right back, and like ST would be striker. But you need to make it all differentiated. So like the only only things I've related to football in my letterpress is just CR, which means Cristiano Ronaldo, and FC, which is just football club. I just memorized Barcelona or something, like the OG Barcelona. So yeah, um, that's for letterpress. It's on how to create letterpress. As for how much you have to memorize, just depends on the person. What software you have to use? This is a really good question. Just use whatever flashcard system you have. I personally use Anki because it's a desktop. I'm more of a desktop user. I don't use my phone at all. So just use Anki. Like, you can create letter pairs and just input them, and it has a great reviewing system. It tracks how much you have learned and stuff, which is a great system. And if you can't memorize your flashcards in that way, then just write it down, because there's no other option. You have to get it in your head eventually. The sooner you do it, the better your memorization will get. And I'll just show you one corner um corner memorization example. So I think so. White top, green front. um this sticker and this sticker is my like swapping sister. So like here we have u I've not memorized so like I'm just gonna go off with it. N NH. I'm sometimes memorize an ammonia for this. And then D D W. I just memorize downtown. Yeah. So that's one letter pair, and then K. So yeah. So the third and most important thing you have to learn is to learn how to twist corners. So when there are two corners in the top layer, just remember that the buffer isn't twisted. So you can do you can twist it like how you do in the beginner method, except the algorithm will twist for the first corner. You have to apply the inverse of it to the second corner that you're twisting. So for example, for this case, you just do this algorithm, like which like twists it like clockwise, and then you do this one like that, and you do the U move because you aligned it here, so you have to undo that move or else you'll get a +2. So similarly, if we do it similarly, if you want to twist this corner, when there's a single corner twisted either in U layer or like down layer, what you do is like you rotate, you align it here, and then you do like the twist this corner, and then you have to apply the inverse to this corner. So how that would work is you do something like this, and you do the inverse, and then you do undo the move. So that's basically it for twisting corners. So that's it for this video. I did not show finger tricks in this video because M2 finger tricks are hard, and also the all postman algs are like they all end on home grip. So yeah, that's a really good thing. As for M2, I recommend you to use the ring middle finger one, the one that you use in M2, because realistically speaking, this M2 is less risky than the one that goes like this. And this, it's just you can learn that at like a higher stage. When you're reaching 3 blind, I think so I probably will learn it when I reach an average of like 2 minute 30. Right now I average like 3 minute 30. So yeah. I'll make a video on the empty finger tricks that I use one day. One day I will. So yeah, I'll see you all next time.